What makes joining words and images, creating visual media, what makes that such a powerful tool in telling history?
Maybe we can look at the first page of a Pasteur story. We'll see that the drawings are simple, but this artist has taken a lot of liberties. So they're sort of caricatured, they're extreme bodies and so on. But top of the page, we've got Louis Pasteur's face. It's almost iconic. It'll stay with us through the story. Here's a cover that shows you how Pasteur there with his microscope is mixed in with military heroes and other people.
It's a great way to surprise people. And I think one of the challenges of history is to present something that's happened, and something that's happened a while ago, something that's a foregone conclusion, in a way that is going to surprise an audience or surprise readers. By drawing these portraits of these characters, you can get a sense of how alive they are. And that's one of I think the hardest things about writing straight prose history. So the element of portraiture, I think, is really important. And then generally finding ways to present images that no one has seen before. Around in Hiroshima when the bomb is going off, these are things that you can show in a graphic way, that it's a lot harder to get that sort of emotional impact with words.
In my case, it's not so much about surprise, although that can be an element too, but it's about creating images that stick with us even if we read, even if we go on. And so maybe we have a picture from Life magazine, the beginning of a Blue Baby story, and it's just an illustration of how the editors knew how to pick the unusual image that would draw us in. The editors believed that in Life magazine of that era, the pictures were to carry the story. The pictures were to grab us, draw us in, and then they would use the text to supplement, explain, answer the questions that the pictures posed. So in this one picture, just a boy and a dog, what we learn after we're drawn is kind of an ordinary boy and a dog picture, is that the boy's life has been saved by the Blue Baby surgery, and the dog had been one of the experimental animals that they tried the surgery on.
Two of the images, actually, I think we have that inspired me in this project and that have seared themselves into my imagination are this image of the atomic bomb going off. It's this Rapitronic image of a high-speed photograph of the bomb in the first hundredths of a second of when it's happening. And then there's the second image, which I think we also, here's the Rapitronic image. When I first saw this early in my research, I had no idea how to wrap my head around this. First of all, I had no idea how to draw it. It's a very hard image to draw. It's a very hard image to describe to anyone. And this was one of the things that inspired me. I think if I could communicate something that is as weird and inchoate as that picture, I'll have succeeded. And then the second one was this photograph, I don't know, it might have been Life magazine, of Oppenheimer's face, a portrait that was taken much after after the Manhattan Project. But there it is. It provided the part of the inspiration for the cover that I drew. But those eyes, there's just something about them in terms of like staying power. That and the Rapitronic images, that is what inspired this book. So one of the things that I wanted to do for my history was to bring all the mythology that people like Oppenheimer and subsequent authors have brought to this story, the myth of Prometheus, the man who brought the fire, stole fire from the gods, or of Faust, the man who made a deal with the devil for enlightenment. To bring all these myths, fold them into the story itself. So, and then maybe something that is allowed me because I'm doing a comic book, I can get away with it. The characters themselves are presenting these myths in a way that gives some framework for understanding the history, but it also doesn't lean too heavily on them.
In the comics that you study, they seem to be much more straightforward.
Yeah, they are. It's an era, and it was an audience that was not looking for a lot of complexity. And it was a period, it was a golden age of attitudes about science and medicine. Everybody was enthusiastic, wanted the latest, very little cynicism about it, and so on. So it was, they were uniformly positive and heroic stories. And we can't use those stories today. It's a little different world. But I do think that there's a lot that's admirable in science, and I wish we had more of these contemporary stories that would share it with people.